It seems like everywhere you look, people are talking about what AI can do, how it's going to change, well, everything. But behind every single one of those smart algorithms, every mind-blowing prediction, there's one critical ingredient: data. You see, data is the fuel for this entire revolution, and today we're going to break down exactly how to protect it.
I mean, really think about it for a second. AI feels like magic, right? But if you strip away all the fancy code and all the powerful hardware, what's the one thing left that it absolutely positively cannot work without?
That's right, it's your data. Without these massive, high-quality data sets to learn from, an AI model, well, it's like a genius who's never read a book or had a single life experience. It's just an empty shell. Your data is what brings it to life.
And this, right here, creates a huge problem. You could call it the AI data paradox. The very thing that makes you innovative, your unique data, is also the thing that makes you the most vulnerable. It's your greatest asset and your greatest challenge all at the same time.
So, the billion-dollar question becomes, how do you build a fortress around this incredibly valuable asset? Well, let's dive into the core strategies you need to create that secure foundation.
To really get a handle on the risks we're facing today, we first have to understand how we got here. You see, the way we store and use data has changed so dramatically, and that whole evolution has created a brand new threat landscape.
You can really see the journey here. I mean, we started out pretty simple, right? Structured data sitting on a single mainframe. But with every step forward, from databases to servers to the cloud and now to these super complex hybrid environments, we've gained a ton of power, sure, but we've also massively increased the complexity and the number of places where things can go wrong. And in today's world, that central data hub is, well, it's incredibly crowded. It isn't just a few users anymore. You've got data engineers, data scientists, admins, business apps, and now the AI models themselves, all trying to access that same core resource. Every single one of those connection points is a potential doorway for a threat.
You know, we're all used to fighting the traditional threats, things like data breaches or ransomware. But AI brings a whole new, much sneakier kind of attack to the table. Instead of just stealing your data, attackers can now poison it, subtly feeding your AI bad information to make it unreliable, or even worse, directly manipulating the model's logic from the inside out. It's like the entire security rulebook has been thrown out the window.
So yeah, it's a pretty daunting landscape. But the good news is, there is a clear blueprint for protecting yourself. So let's walk through the 4 fundamental strategies you absolutely need to build a real fortress around your data. Okay, first, and I think this is the most important one, is classification. It's simple. You can't protect what you don't understand. This means you have to categorize your data. Is it public information? Is it confidential? Does it have personally identifiable information? You know, PII, things like names, addresses, social security numbers. Knowing exactly what you have is the absolute first step to protecting it the right way. All right, so once you know what you're protecting, the next strategy is to meticulously control who and what gets to touch it. This is all about creating a really strict, really clear set of rules that governs every single interaction with your data. We can break this down into 4 key rules. First, no direct access. You always want to use roles as a kind of middleman. Second, read only by default. This prevents accidental changes and keeps things clean. Third, and this one is crucial, is the principle of least privilege. This just means you give an account the absolute bare minimum access it needs to do its job, and nothing more. And finally, strong identity management. You have to know for sure who or what is accessing your data at all times.
And this quote right here, it gets to the very heart of a key philosophy: the separation of duties. Think of your system administrators like the architects building a super secure bank vault. They can build the walls, they can maintain the locks, but they should never, ever have the keys to the money inside. That separation is absolutely critical.
Next up, strategy number 3, encryption. This is your last line of defense. By scrambling the data, you make it totally useless if a thief ever gets their hands on it. But, and this is a huge but, the keys that unlock that data have to be managed separately from your system admins, because if your admin has both the system and the keys, your encryption is basically worthless.
Finally, our 4th strategy is active monitoring. You can't just set up your defenses and walk away. You have to be constantly watching for weird stuff, like an admin logging in at 2 in the morning. This also means getting rid of shared IDs. For real security, you need total accountability. You have to know exactly who did what and when.
So, when you put all these pieces together, the classification, the access rules, the encryption, and the monitoring. What you're really building is a comprehensive data governance program. It's the big picture discipline that ties all of these protective measures into one cohesive strategy.
And that leads us to our final section, the ongoing mission. Because the single most important thing to understand about protecting your data is that you are never, ever done.
So after all of that, what does it all boil down to? What is the number one overarching rule for good security hygiene?
And that rule is to never stop. Seriously, security isn't a destination you arrive at, it's a process. You have to constantly repeat the cycle, reassess your data, review your access rules, refine your monitoring over and over again. The threats are always changing, which means your defenses have to change right along with them.
So I'll leave you with this. Your AI is only as good, only as trustworthy as the data it's built on. So the ultimate question you have to ask yourself is this: is your data ready for that kind of responsibility?